Hello there. Brexit, pandemic, consequences of a war, a dead queen, and constant change in Downing Street. The British are now crisis tested, but the problems on the island are astonishing. Eggs are becoming scarce, mold is growing in many apartments, and the prices for almost everything are skyrocketing. The British are currently having to deal with a number of annoyances. And there's a lot that's not working properly on the island, and probably much more than I'm talking about in this video. The economic situation is worse than it has been for a long time. The recession has officially begun. Inflation is more than 11%. Real wages are falling. And Chancellor of the Exchequer or Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt wants to top up the empty coffers with around £55 billion in tax hikes and spending cuts. After all, the government is cushioning the particularly exploding consumer prices for electricity and gas over the winter, but from April the British will probably have to dig much deeper into their own pockets. While there was hardly anything as hotly debated here in Germany, where I'm sitting in the summer, as the filling levels of the gas storage facilities, Great Britain was distracted by the regular overthrow of its prime ministers. Then the British electricity network operators suddenly warned if there is not enough gas, in the worst case, the electricity would have to be switched off temporarily. In an unlikely scenario, some homes and businesses would face planned 3-hour power outages to ensure grid stability. That's what the National Grid Electricity System Operator ESO said. A few months ago, British media wrote of summer strikes. Now this is long over, but the strike is still going on. A number of trains are regularly standing still because the employees of the largely privatized railway companies cannot reach an agreement with the employers. Royal Mail workers are also involved in industrial action, so post is often a long time coming. There is no economic upswing without skilled workers as well. Great Britain has a shortage of workers, particularly in the service sectors, such as gastronomy or logistics, also because there are no easy visas for them to pave the way to the British labour market. Before Brexit, EU citizens often worked in these jobs, but many of them have now left the island. What we need are people to do the jobs that people don't want to do, is what economist Charles Goodhart recently told the Financial Times. The British have largely declared the corona pandemic over, regardless of the infection situation, and now the next pandemic or epidemic is troubling the country. With more than 200 confirmed cases, Britain is suffering its largest outbreak of bird flu today, according to the Environment Department. The virus hits turkeys, among other things, and with them a traditional Christmas meal. Almost a third of the annual turkey production of 11 million animals was culled. That's what the Daily Mail newspaper reported at the end of October. And in addition, according to the British Free Range Egg Producers Association, more than 750,000 hens have been killed since the beginning of October, making eggs scarce too. Supermarkets are therefore already rationing sales. You might have seen my video on this last week. Anyone traveling to the British coast must be prepared for an unpleasant experience here and there, which has repeatedly caused indignation in recent weeks and months. If the pipes to the sewage treatment plants are too full after heavy rainfall, excess sewage can be discharged directly into the sea and rivers. A number of sewage treatment plants have recently used this option. Dozens of beaches were subsequently closed due to pollution. And while rental prices are skyrocketing, especially in the capital London, little is happening when it comes to the maintenance and insulation of the properties. At least tens of thousands of apartments in the country are not safe because of moisture and mold. That's what Building Minister Michael Gove admitted in a BBC interview. We know there is a significant number of properties, some of which were built in the 1960s and 1970s, that are in poor condition, is what the Conservative politician said. They are in dire need of refurbishment or repairs. The fact that trade with the EU has collapsed and post-Brexit trade deals, such as those with Japan or Australia, have not yet kept what they promised, makes one thing clear: Brexit is paralyzing the kingdom. The independent economic regulator OBR emphasizes that Brexit had a significant adverse effect on trade with the EU and is causing lasting damage to the economy. Public support has fallen to record low according to a survey. 56% of people in Great Britain now consider Brexit to be a mistake, as the opinion research institute YouGov found out. Of those who voted to leave, only 70% still hold to their opinion at the time, and that's fewer than ever before. And Brexit will give us a lot to talk about in the next week still. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.